How's it going, everybody? I'm the B2E Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading with the prices going up or down. The Algo Foundation expands its footprint in India. Blockchain protocol Algo has expanded its footprint in India by securing new partnerships with NASSCOM, Thai Bangalore, and the Mandashai Foundation. It will now build out Web3 capabilities of youngsters under NASSCOM's Future Skills Prime Skilling Hub and develop a blockchain-based scorecard and identity system for Mandashai Foundation's women entrepreneurs. They will also land a collaboration with Thai Bangalore, a global venture supporting entrepreneurs to provide educational incentives to support the Indian Web3 ecosystem. I also have plans to build on top of India CBDC if they do make one. So there's a few things Algo's doing over in India. Hopefully this can grow and expand over and have more use cases for it. FTX cleared to sell $873 million in Grayscale Bitcoin Trust shares and other holdings. As FTX bankruptcy saga continues, advisors for the collapsed crypto exchange have received court approval to sell assets held in digital trusts from Grayscale and Bitwise, which are collectively valued at nearly $873 million. FTX holds more than 32 million total shares split between 5 Grayscale trusts and the Bitwise 10 crypto index fund. The bankruptcy court filing enables FTX's bankruptcy advisors to sell the trust shares to recover funds to repay creditors, including exchange customers, so that means we're going to have a lot of sell pressure coming. You can earn Bitcoin by playing PC shooter Splitgate. Here's how. Splitgate is a first-person shooter that pairs arena-style blasting with the ability to spawn and travel through portals. This will implement the ability to earn Bitcoin by playing thanks to a new Lightning Network integration from fintech startup ZBD. ZBD has collaborated with Splitgate developer 1047 Games to roll out the Bitcoin integration for the PC version of the free-to-play shooter, with an upcoming tournament set to showcase the Lightning Payments functionality while awarding players a share of half a Bitcoin prize pool, about $19,000 worth of it at the writing. The Splitgate Winter International will kick off in December with 16 teams. The first round of action is on December 10th through 11th. A second round loser showdown will be on December 16th to the 17th, and ultimately the grand finals will be on December 22nd. Interested players can find the details via the ZBT Discord server, with registration closing ahead of the first round on December 10th. Players must be at least 18 years of age with a ZBD account and reside in either the US or Brazil. The feature will let players earn Bitcoin rewards, and it'll also let players add to the pool to sweeten the pot for all. Bitcoin miner AntPool to refund record-breaking 3 million transaction fee. So if you remember, we covered that $2 million was sent, or $5 million was sent, they paid $3 million in the transaction fee, so they only got $2 million back. AntPool noted that its risk control system temporarily froze the fee when packaging the transaction, and they invited the user to verify themselves before December 10th. For that user, if you're interested, here's the steps you need. I'm sure they sent you an email. So over on the Dixie, we are trying to break our neckline. So we are trying to regain some momentum after gaining about a third of our breakdown. If we are able to regain momentum here, this head and shoulder pattern could be invalidated and we could see the Dixie rise, which it would likely rise to try to break this 105 area. That is both on that green Fibonacci, then we have an area slightly higher at 105.5, about 105.69. RSI does want to head up, Stochastic wants to head forward, but our Stochastic is overall inching out, maintaining bearish divergence, so I would keep a close eye on that. The RSI is this red line, our Stochastic is our double line. The Stochastic gives our RSI the strength, the RSI is the relative strength index. Money flow does want to push that neutral, but it is in bearish. That is this red wave you see. When it is green, it is bullish and has a bullish trend. Currently, we have the bearish trend since it is red. The VWAP, which is this yellow wave, which is harder to see, is trying to push into the bullish territory, but it's doing what we say is a zigzag as it's going up, down, not really favoring either side. If it continues this, then the trend will likely continue, which is the bearish trend, but that trend isn't very strong. So I would watch very closely. If our VWAP favors bullish territory and stays above this neutral, it's very likely that money flow will break back to the bullish side and we will see a pretty decent move to the upside. It's going to be important where tomorrow's candle lands. If tomorrow's candle is a red candle, we're likely going to reject away and keep pulling back. However, if we get a strong green candle tomorrow, we could see continual action back up and again invalidate the pattern. That momentum has a bullish divergence, as price is coming down, making lower lows, and our oscillator is making higher lows. That does show that we could see a push to the upside, but remember, those can show in bearish environments and not play out. So don't always go 100% on them. That momentum is overall in the bearish territory, but if that VWAP favors bullish territory, that momentum is going to continue forward. This momentum is this bigger blue wave. Over on our total, we tried to break back into our pattern, but we got rejected, so we are going to have to see if we get a red candle. If we get a red candle, we will have that confirmation and likely fill the rest of this drop. However, if we see some bullish momentum, it is possible we will make a snap forward, especially with the Dixie looking like it could jump up too. So that Dixie could help lead the rest of the market forward. RSI's overall coming out. Stochastic's overall pushing down. It is in that bearish territory under that 30. So even though we do have decent environments, we do still have some bearish indicators. Money flow is in the bullish territory. It does have a strong bullish trend though. Our VWAP is trying to curl back up. So if this money flow sustains in the bullish territory and the VWAP continues up on lower time frames, that would be good for us. Real quick, we'll go on the 4-hour. VWAP money flow bullish. 2-hour VWAP money flow trying to be bullish, so if this can sustain and break, we may see continual price action up and then break into our pattern. Over on the 1-hour, money flow is remaining bullish with our VWAP favoring bullish territory. We have a high here, a stretched out kind of stretch in the bullish territory here. We have a really big low here, a weaker low here, so that was a bullish trend, but it did make a bearish trend. But it's maintaining and favoring bullish momentum by staying on the bullish side more than the bearish side. That is what's giving this money flow the momentum it needs to sustain bullish action and push forward. If this continues, our money flow can push our other time frames back up. So again, that's another example why it's important to watch the lower time frames and why we don't just cover the daily and go, okay, done. Stochastic is getting a bearish cross here on Bitcoin dominance. Momentum does want to round away. The VWAP is heading toward that neutral and wants to break into the bearish territory. Money flow's overall coming down, so I would just watch out. If that VWAP breaks in the bearish territory and starts to favor it, then the bears are likely going to gain control. But if it breaks and just peaks back up, kind of like back here, then we won't have too much bearish control, so we're going to have to really watch it. Over on the 4-hour, VWAP and money flow are bearish, so that's not good. 2-hour, VWAP money flow bearish. 1-hour, VWAP money flow bearish, but they're close to the neutral. If they can break through the neutral and gain some bullish momentum in favor of the bullish side, we can see dominance continue forward. However, if the VWAP and money flow make a rejection here, it's very likely dominance will continue out and people will start selling Bitcoin for either stablecoins, altcoins, or even dollars. Over on Bitcoin futures, you can see we are trying to rise up in this rising channel. We just can't break away from it yet. Real quick, if you haven't, smash that like, hit the subscribe, and join us in that Discord. Momentum's overall pushing out, RSI's overall pushing away, Stochastic's overall pushing down. It is getting pretty beat down, so our RSI is likely going to continue down if the Stochastic does not rebound soon. Money flow is starting to head toward that neutral. It wants to break bearish as our VWAP is in the bearish territory. Watch this VWAP closely. If it can make a bounce here, we can get some bullish momentum. However, if it continues down from here, it's very likely the bears will break us out of this channel and push us back down. Real quick, the 4-hour, VWAP money flow are slightly bearish, trying to cross the neutral, so it's very important what the lower time frames are doing at this time. The 2-hour money flow is bullish, but coming down as our VWAP is in the bearish territory. It was starting to favor the bearish territory, so if that continues, we would be in jeopardy of this money flow flipping bearish. The 1-hour VWAP is in the bearish territory, but our money flow is maintaining a bullish trend, as on the 1-hour VWAP is favoring bullish territory. If it can continue to favor bullish territory, getting higher lows and continual highs, we could see price action make a decent bounce from here. However, if we do not sustain a decent bounce from here and see a pretty decent green candle in the next candle or two, it's very likely we will start to pull back. Over on the daily, we are starting a little bit of a pullback. RSI is starting to head down. Stochastic wants to round away. Money flow is getting bearish divergence, so Bitcoin on the daily is looking a little dicey. Money flow is starting to come down as our VWAP is breaking back into the bearish territory, making lower highs. So if it starts to favor the bearish territory here, it's very likely the bears will step in and knock us down pretty violently. Over on the 4-hour, we are trying to remain in a rising channel. Go quick. This may be a rising wedge, which a rising wedge within a rising channel would push us down because it's another bearish pattern. Stochastic is overall pushing down. RSI is overall curling out. Momentum is starting to push away. Money flow is starting to come down, and that VWAP is favoring the bearish territory. If this VWAP continues to favor bearishly, the momentum is likely going to continue down, then our money flow will make a break with it, at which point the daily would be in jeopardy of starting to weaken as well. Over on the 2-hour, you can see we have a few manipulation X's, but they weren't able to bring us down too far. RSI is starting to head down. Our stochastic did make a little bit of a ramp up, but it's starting to take a little bit of a break. It wants to make a bearish cross. We do have a bit of a bullish divergence on it, as we're getting higher highs on this oscillator while these are making lower highs. That makes a bit of a pinch point where when that pinch point happens, you tend to snap up from. So that would be our biggest bullish case for us. Momentum's in the bearish territory. It does have a red dot. Money flow is slightly in the bearish territory as our VWAP's becoming indecisive. If our VWAP continues to favor the bearish territory here, it's very likely money flow will roll over and we will continue to drop to the downside. Over on the 1-hour, this is more of a straight channel, so this could be a bit of a bear flag here. This would be 1-2 touches with a freak breakout. We could be in jeopardy of seeing a break to the downside soon. Stochastic does want to round over. Remember, it's a 1-hour pattern though, so it's not a very strong pattern. RSI is coming out. Money flow is rounding away. Our VWAP's in that bearish territory after gaining a lower high in the bullish territory. If we reject the neutral or make a lower high and come back into the neutral, it's very likely the bears will regain some control and try to continue to push us down. Momentum is rolling away with a red dot. That does show that we do want to push down, as that VWAP did break bearish, but VWAP is trying to push back up, so we may try to invalidate that. Overall, I would say exercise some caution with that sell pressure that we do have incoming. It's not going to hit us all at once, but it could gradually take price down, as this is a pretty decent area to take profits for or break even, as a lot of people that DCA'd or possibly bought near the top of the last crypto market could be near profits or about break even at this point. So this would be a very strategic time for these companies that need to pay back customers to start selling off, which means the market will go down. Momentum has bearish divergence, stochastic has bearish divergence, money flow is coming out, stochastic's starting to spill down. This is on graph on the daily, and that VWAP is heavy in that bearish territory. So overall, the daily does look like we could continue down. That's not too good for a sustained push to the downside, because if we just continue with red candle after red candle after red candle, sometime that's going to give, and we're going to give very strong snap back to the upside. RSI in the 4 hours overall heading out. Stochastic's overall heading down. Money flow is in that bearish territory, rejecting the neutral, so if this continues, we're likely going to see that daily weaken. Stochastic did want to make a bit of a bounce. It did try to get some bullish momentum. It got about a 32, just slightly over that neutral, and it's starting to give. If it gives here, that RSI would be in danger of rolling over, and we could see this 4-hour overall push to the downside even further. Over on our 2-hour, you can see we're starting to go sideways, making a bear flag. Stochastic does want to roll over. RSI is overall coming down. Our VWAP does want to roll over and break that neutral. Money flow is starting to curl away from the neutral, and the momentum is starting to push down as that VWAP wants to break bearish. If that VWAP breaks bearish here, the 2-hour does look like we would be set up for further losses. Over on the 1-hour, we have bearish divergence on that stochastic. Stochastic starting to spill over. RSI would be in jeopardy of losing some ground here. We do have a manipulation X that could start to break us down. We are just above that higher EMA. So if we break this higher EMA and hold under it, that would be where we would see that stronger move to the downside. Our VWAP was favoring bullish momentum, but that didn't really take us too far, as the money flow was remaining more bearishly. Our money flow is starting to come down with our VWAP and the momentum. So overall, the 1-hour is not looking too strong. We would need this VWAP to roll back into the bullish territory and start to favor again if we're going to see the money flow recover. Otherwise, if we start to favor the bearish territory here, it's likely the bears will pick up more steam. Over on the daily for Anchor, we are just above that higher EMA. We tried to just blast right past it, tried to blast past our value area low, so we made some decent moves. It's very counter to the rest of the market. The rest of the market went down and Anchor gained like 5%. RSI is trying to head up, Stochastic wants to head up. Momentum's overall coming out, but our VWAP is ramping up very good. Momentum does want to push forward as that VWAP is bullish, but the momentum's starting to curl, indicating the VWAP may start to weaken, so I would just keep a close eye on things and not get too excited, especially since the rest of the market looks a little more down. Over on the 4-hour, let's see, this could be that cup and handle here. So this could be our cup, this could be our handle that just finished out, and we could blast past. The caveat to that is we're going to not want to break, I'd say if we break 2392, this pattern would be in jeopardy, or if we make another push to the downside, it would be in jeopardy since we have a double bottom that pushed up. If this double bottom does not resume momentum, a cup and handle possibility is pretty much shot, because if we come back down, make a triple bottom that could try to push us forward, but it would also mean that we did weaken this area another time and could break it. Stochastic is starting to come down, momentum wants to roll away. That momentum has a double red dot. Our VWAP is trying to break into the bearish territory, and the money flow is maintaining bullish momentum, as that VWAP was favoring bullish momentum. However, if this VWAP breaks and favors bearish momentum here, that money flow is likely going to follow, as it's not very strong currently, and it was flirting with breaking the bearish side. Over on the 2-hour, we are trying to make a bull flag here. Not very strong bull flag, but it could be a bull flag to kick off the pump up that we would need for that cup and handle. Momentum is rounding off. RSI wants to head up. Stochastic's coming down. And money flow is in the bullish territory, hovering above that neutral, as our VWAP wants to break bullish. If this VWAP can push bullish, the money flow is likely going to continue forward. However, if our VWAP rejects here, it's likely the money flow will pull into that bearish territory. Over on the 1-hour, we are kind of zigzagging around, just making that flag. RSI is kind of flat here. Stochastic wants to make a push up. It is trying to ramp up, so that could help push us forward. We did get a bit of a drop from a bearish divergence, but price action didn't really move with it. VWAP does want to push forward, but the VWAP's kind of starting to flatten out. If the VWAP flattens out and starts to push down here, then that bullish movement to the upside could be in jeopardy of breaking, but as long as this money flow is bullish, we do have the potential to continue forward. Remember, green money flow means we're going to could continue forward. You do get your times where you'll break down with bullish money flow or break up with bearish money flow. That's why nothing's 100%. Over on XRP for the daily, We're struggling to break away from this channel that we should have no problem of pushing out of. So if we do not gain some bullish momentum soon, it's very likely we're going to continue to push away. Stochastic does want to roll away. RSI is coming down. Money flows kind of in the bullish territory, heading toward the neutral. It wants to break that neutral, but it just can't quite get there. Now VWAP is in the bearish territory. It does have slightly higher lows, so it does have a slight bullish trend that it wants to push forward. If the VWAP can break through the neutral, it may carry that money flow back up if the momentum continues forward as well. Over on the 4-hour, we do have a double manipulation X that wants to bring us down, so I would watch out for that. Stochastic's overall coming down. RSI is starting to sell off. VWAP is starting to roll away with lower highs and continual lows favoring bearish territory. If this continues and we see lower highs or no highs at all, or we just sustain under the neutral, then it's very likely the bears will have strong control and push us away from here. Momentum is forming bullish divergence as it's making higher lows as price is kind of ranging, so that could try to save us, but again, remember those do form in bearish environments. Over on the 2-hour here, we are kind of zigzagging around. Could call this a bit of a flag if you wanted, where, let's see, right here would be our bottom as we have some candle bodies and wicks, and we have a candle wick here. And then right around here could be your top. That would give you a few touches here, and then a freak break up. If that is our bear flag, that would continue to push us down and put us in jeopardy of breaking this 57,394 support level. Stochastic does want to roll over. RSI wants to roll over. VWAP wants to roll over. Money flow is in the bearish territory, starting to come down, so if that VWAP continues to come down, and money flow is likely going to break into the bearish territory and sustain bearish momentum, weakening the higher time frames. Momentum does want to push forward, but it's starting to round away as our VWAP is starting to lose some steam here. Over on the 1-hour, Stochastic is starting to take a dive. RSI is starting to head down. Money flow wants to break neutral, and our VWAP wants to break neutral, with the momentum starting to round. So if the VWAP and money flow break neutral here, it's very likely the bears will resume control and we will see that flush down I mentioned. However, if we are able to make a bounce here in the next couple candles, it's very likely we will see a push to the upside. Finally, for Algo for today, we are pretty flat. We went to the top and bottom of our symmetrical triangle, solidifying both our support and our resistance. RSI is coming down, Stochastic's pretty flat. Money flow is pretty flat, momentum's overall coming out, and the VWAP is struggling with lower highs and continual lows favoring the bearish territory. If that continues again, it's likely we're going to break to the downside. Over on the 4-hour, we do have a wick up, a long upper shadow wick though, as it's bigger than the long candle that we have here. You may try to call it doji, but if you're going to bet on it being a long upper shadow, it is saying buyers tried to push us out of this pattern. They tried to get an early break up, but they failed, so the bears could resume control. So if tomorrow's candle is red, it's very likely we could see a breakdown. However, if tomorrow's candle is green, we could see the bullish move up. Stochastic does want to make bearish divergence and wants to push away. RSI is at a point where it's kind of indecisive. It's starting to go flat as the Stochastic does want to come down. The momentum is starting to roll over with the red dot as the VWAP is in the bearish territory. It was favoring bullish momentum. That was what helped push us up. But if it starts to favor the bearish territory here, it's very likely this money flow will curl back down and we will see the bears snap us back down. At which point that would weaken our daily. The 2-hour money flow is in the bearish territory, the VWAP's in the bearish territory, but they are trying to come up and our momentum's trying to make a bounce here as well. If that VWAP can cross through this neutral on the 2-hour, we could see a continued pump to the upside. Stochastic does want to push forward, RSI wants to push forward, but that's going to depend on if that Stochastic can continue to pump or not. If the Stochastic starts to roll away, that RSI is likely going to start to weaken. Finally, on the 1-hour, we have manipulation X's everywhere that want to take us out. Stochastic's coming down. It does have a bullish cross. It wants to make a bounce around this neutral, so that is good for the bulls. but our VWAP is in the bullish territory. It's very weak, so if our VWAP starts around here, we could see lower highs with continued lows, and then that could be a bearish trend to take us down. However, if this VWAP continues to push forward, this money flow is going to make a bounce with the momentum, and we will see a sustained push to the upside. Over on the 1 hour, it's more of a long upper shadow candle, so that does give more suggestion that the bulls could be exhausted. Again, I would watch the next few candles very closely to see which way this VWAP decides to move. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.